sacrifices, one after another, until she faded away like smoke in the harmattan wind. When they reached Chike's compound, the celebration slowly faded. His home was exactly as she had feared, small, humble, barely furnished. The mud walls were patched with dried palm leaves, and the only sign of comfort was a wooden bench beneath the shade of a mango tree. A single hen clucked lazily around the yard, pecking at the ground. Adana's heart sank. This was her new home. Chike turned to her, his gaze unreadable. "You must be tired. Let me show you inside." She hesitated, but with no other choice, she stepped in. The room was dimly lit, a small mat spread across the floor. There was a wooden shelf stacked with clay pots, a water jug, and a bundle of firewood in one corner. The bed was a simple bamboo frame with a thin mattress. It was nothing like the home she had grown up in, and even that had been modest. "I know this isn't what you wanted," Chike said quietly, watching her expression. "But I will do my best to take care of you." Adana turned away, refusing to let him see the tears threatening to spill. What kind of life awaited her here? She didn't know that behind the walls of this simple house, her new husband was hiding a secret that could change everything. The first morning in Chike's home felt unreal, like a dream she wished she could wake up from. The rooster's crow came too early, jarring Adana from the restless sleep she had managed to find on the thin mattress. The scent of burning firewood drifted through the small room, and for a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she turned, and reality hit her. She was no longer in her father's house. She was a wife now. Sitting up slowly, she glanced around. Chike was not in the room. She could hear the faint sounds of him moving outside, tending to the animals or preparing something over the fire. For a brief second, she considered running back home. But where would she go? Her father had made it clear, this was her fate now. Summoning her courage, she stepped outside. The morning air was crisp, and the sun had barely risen above the trees. Chike was crouched near the fire, roasting yam over the open flames. He looked up when he saw her, his face unreadable. "You should eat," he said, breaking off a piece of yam and placing it on a wooden plate. "It's going to be a long day." Adana didn't move. She watched him, trying to understand this man who was now her husband. He was quiet, always watching, always thinking. He wasn't cruel or harsh, but he wasn't the kind of man she had ever imagined being with. Finally, she sat down and picked at the yam, eating slowly. "I can help with chores," she muttered, more out of obligation than willingness. Chike raised an eyebrow. "You don't have to." She frowned. "So what am I supposed to do here?" A small smile touched his lips, as if he knew something she didn't. "Live." Adana scoffed. What kind of life could she possibly live in this place? She had no idea that soon, her world would turn upside down in ways she never expected. Days passed, and Adana slowly settled into her new reality. It was not the life she wanted, but it was the one she had. Each morning, she woke up before the sun, fetched water from the stream, and prepared meals in the small outdoor kitchen. The routine kept her occupied, but it did little to silence the longing in her heart. Chike remained a mystery. He was kind but distant, never forcing conversation yet always watching her with those deep, thoughtful eyes. He spent most of his time tending to his farm, but Adana noticed something odd. He never seemed worried about money. Unlike the other farmers who struggled to buy even the smallest provisions, Chike always had enough food, enough supplies, enough of everything. One afternoon, as she swept the small compound, she noticed something strange. Chike had left early that morning, saying he needed to travel to the next village to buy new tools. But as she walked past his small storeroom, the wooden door was slightly ajar. Curiosity pricked at her. Hesitantly, she pushed it open. Inside, the room was nothing like the rest of the house. While their home was simple and bare, this space was different. Stacked neatly in the corner were bags of rice, beans, and yams, far more than one poor farmer should have. A wooden chair sat against the wall, its lid slightly open, revealing crisp bundles of money tied with twine. Adana's heart pounded. Why would a struggling farmer have so much food stored away? And where did all that money come from? Just as she turned to leave, a voice made her freeze. What are you doing in here? She spun around to find Chike standing in the doorway, his expression unreadable. Her throat went dry. Had she just uncovered something she wasn't supposed to know? Adana's breath hitched as she stared at Chike, her heart hammering against her ribs. He stood in the doorway, arms crossed, his face unreadable. The room suddenly felt smaller, the air thick with unspoken words. I was just cleaning, she stammered, stepping back.